The voice actors in Attack on Titan deserve so much praise. I mean, everyone compliments it, from Eren to Gabby to Armin Mikasa. They steal the show more often than not. Sometimes those side characters that you think aren't going to be all that memorable, like Nicolo or Flock, they knock it out of the park with their devotion to the character, as if they are the character, and it sells a scene that could have easily been nothing into something that transcends even what I read in the manga into something so emotionally impactful and gripping. Next week is going to be incredible with the conversation between Eren, Mikasa, and Armin, as well as the new side supporting character Gabby here, who doesn't want to be there, but unfortunately just had her world shattered, and we'll definitely jump into a lot of that content for sure. But this episode reveals Zeke's secret weapon. Back in Season 2, we kind of wondered, how did the overall Titans just randomly appear in the village that killed a lot of people, including Connie's family? And we learn it was Zeke's doing, but to see actually how it happened, and to see the lie that Zeke gave the Survey Corps, the fact that he has the gas in his spinal fluid, that if you are injected with it, you'll be paralyzed, and upon his call, he can transform anyone into mindless titans. The thing is, and I love this about Attack on Titan, the idea of having a lie, the best way to do it is by sprinkling in some truth. We get it last week with Yelena, but then we have it even more so here. When you're learning about Zeke's plan in terms of like what he did in the past, and Levi's just casually talking with him, he's basically saying it for the viewer's sake so we understand what happened, but at the same time, it's really Levi just trying to get something out of him, so a lie is a slip up, right? If he slips up his story in any way, they know where he was lying. But the idea of someone like Zeke saying, hey, this is how my ability works. Everything he says is true, except the one crucial detail, that his spinal fluid, when injected to someone, doesn't make him go paralyzed. Meaning you won't have any doubts about what you're eating, what you're drinking. So across all this time that they've been preparing, the higher-ups in the military have been drinking wine. Meaning that Zeke has the ultimate switch, that if anything happens that Zeke doesn't like, he can flip it, and the entire military is destroyed. And what I love about this reveal is that there's definitely been clues and hints, and I've even seen some great, what I assume are anime-only thoughts about the line, being like, I wonder what's going to happen with it. But it's so interesting to see how the anime directed it, especially when you have characters like Nicolo, who are not wanting other characters to drink it, because obviously he cares about certain sections, despite obviously being from Marley and things like that. But the way he kind of explains it is that, well, you're just a simple Eldian and you don't deserve it, when really he has a very strong suspicion that it was the spinal fluid. And it's really interesting to see the direction they went, where having, Sasha's family come in, and the idea of him cooking dinner, because he loved Sasha, and Sasha most likely loved him. It's very heavily implied. And to see a situation where originally you have a character who didn't understand that Gabby was the one who killed the person who saved her, that the girl Sasha saved. She had no idea that Gabby was the one responsible. She just knew she was from Marley and wanted to help her the same way Sasha helped her. And what I love about this whole situation is you have a character like Nicolo who is just so distraught, so destroyed about what happened to Sasha. And Gabby, this is like the final moment, it feels like, right? Because, there's been ups and downs with her character of saying, like, maybe not all Eldians are devils, but she still believes because she was trained and she bought into the gospel, basically. But the idea of throwing it in the one character you didn't want's face, that, yeah, I killed her, and we're gonna do this, we're gonna escape, and to see him just want to kill her and snap, but then Falco gets in the way, drinks some wine in the process, it was such a great moment. And then that entire interrogation scene. This is one of the moments in the manga that initially when I first read it when it was coming out month to month, it was a good moment to me, but it wasn't a standout in this arc. But upon rereads of the manga, I've really grown to appreciate this moment a lot, and in the anime, even more so. The voice actors, the directing were flawless. And I think there's a really important line before this is all concluded about how Sasha's father is saying, like, the hate and the guilt and all these horrible things about the past should be the burdens of the adults, not the kids. As if, we've made mistakes, but let's let the next generation have their own chance without being burdened by everything that we've held them down by. And I think it's a really great moment that kind of symbolizes that. Someone like Sasha's father is grief-ridden, he's pissed, he's probably feeling exactly what Nicolo is feeling, but it's a kid. It really is at the end of the day, and your upbringing will shape you a lot. What will this do? Will this bring his daughter back? Instead, he just wants to mourn. He wants to see less bloodshed, and he, in a lot of ways, blames himself. He took her out of that forest and sent her into a world. And I think what they did a great job at was really showing both sides in a pretty even light. Nicola is saying, you killed the one I love, you did these horrible things, you are a scumbag, and she's saying, your friend killed my friends, killed people around me. It really is just endless bloodshed, which that's what makes Sasha's father's lines, I think, so important, is that, like, let the adults be burdened and let the kids just be kids and shape their own foundation going forward. I thought it was a great moment, and I think really is one of the standout moments of the final season in terms of how the anime transcended what I already enjoyed about the source material, but turned it into something even more compelling. And I think the voice actors are a big part of that. The directing was great, the character models were clean, but it was something about the way the facial reactions and the voices coming across really felt like someone who lost their loved one and wants to kill the one behind it, but really also is like, it's a kid, I don't want to kill a kid, I'm so just burdened right now. And I think when Flock comes in and everything like that, just showing that, like, everything is over, right? You know, the higher-ups like Pixis, really his master plan was to feed Eren to someone. It was not really surprising. I mean, he wants to obey for now, but someone like Eren's not going to fall for that. And the casual reveal of Eren after having this conversation with, like, Armin, Mikasa, and Gabby, they're just chilling, they're talking, she's being like, why would you even want to save me? And they're just like, I just don't want to kill a kid. That's literally what it boils down to. You're a kid, you're not so far gone that you can't be rehabilitated or something like that. And then Eren just casually comes in with a cut on his hand showing that if you don't do what I say, I will transform. The poker face on Eren is incredible, and once again, Eren's voice actor really changes what I initially read in the manga into such a different scene. When I initially read him, like, holding his hand, and he was like, hey, let's have a chat, it kind of seemed like deadpan. But I love how Eren's voice actor goes the direction of there's always this sense of sorrow, but he's so determined to follow through because it feels like that's the only path he can follow. And I am so ecstatic for next week because with Levi knowing everything that's happening here, Levi pretty much being completely grief-driven, he's saved Eren so many times of the belief that no matter the amount of sacrifices, Eren and what he will do will be worth it in the end. And it's come down to what's happening right now, and he's wondering, did I make a mistake or did I make a wrong turn at the very least? And then you have Eren wanting to have a chat with his friends before finishing up his plan by the looks of it. This was one of those episodes that really, could have been very easy to mess it up, and I think if this would have been a final season that was actually trying to rush through to the ending, this would have been brushed over, if not completely cut. And I think this is one of those moments that really shapes that characters like Gabby or Niccolo or all these characters, the way grief is portrayed in a war of both sides killing the other. It doesn't matter who started what, it doesn't matter who hates who. Really, it's an endless cycle, and someone has to say, I just don't want to kill a kid, and I want to see that person hopefully change their ways. Because at this point, where has this bloodshed got us? And it's going to be very interesting to see the final 3 episodes, as then we get the confirmation of either part 2 or a series of movies. Either way, it's really great to see where they're planning to stop it, and I think people, the manga readers have kind of had a mixed reaction of where they're ending it. Not big enough cliffhanger, maybe it's too simple. But I think when you compare how the season started to where the season's going to end, I think it's pretty great, is the best way to put it. I won't go past that. I'll touch more upon it, obviously, when episode 16 comes out. But it's really great to see that they're taking their time, and I'm really excited because there's already rumors that part 2's been in production since last October. Meaning maybe it's a different subsection of Mappa, maybe it's a different studio. Nonetheless, like, we will get more. I mean, Isayama's always said that the full thing will be adapted. But still, it's great to see the pacing in these final stretches here, because it really feels like they're taking their time to make sure that you're really appreciating the slower moments, and really the slower moments are more eventful than most anime out there. This was probably one of the best moments of the season so far for me. I think that whole Gabby situation and kind of like the wake-up call on both sides was really well executed. And honestly, one of the best moments is going to happen next week with that conversation. I mean, there's just a lot of, like, some of the best moments, but I mean, that's how it just says how good the quality of Attack on Titan is. But let me know your thoughts and feelings down below. What did you think, and what was your personal favorite moment? If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, share your support, and hit that subscribe button if you're happy new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.